Hi everyone, welcome to week 9 of our English 205 class. This week we'll be wrapping up the profile essay and beginning to look a little bit at storytelling and reflecting on experiences. Over the past several weeks, we have explored two roles that nurses take on as writers. Academic writing, with a strong foundation in critical thinking, reading, and problem solving skills, and professional writing, with a focus on compassionate care and the individual. During the final weeks of the course, we will focus on a third way that writing takes root in the nursing profession: storytelling. Sharing personal stories is a way for nurses to build a reflective and supportive community. It is also a way for nurses to connect with patients. Beyond the hospital walls and past the graduation stage, there's a community of nurses who are writers. Just like you, most of these individuals are not professionals and have little formal writing experience outside of their college English courses. Nevertheless, they use writing as a way to cope with, reflect upon, and process their daily experiences in masterful and compelling ways. They also share stories as a way to find common ground, develop bonds, and learn about themselves and others. This week, you'll work on making final revisions to your profile essay, and you also will enter into a dialogue with your peers about the role of storytelling in your own life and the nursing profession. You will discuss nurses' writings as a way to plan your own short personal story, which you will share, which can be done anonymously or along with your name. Option only applies to the 10-1 discussion forum with your peers in week 10. Here are our objectives for this week. You're going to revise, edit, and proofread your profile essay. You're going to evaluate a personal story. You're going to discuss the impact of tone and word choice, and you're going to react to a personal story's message. Here are some readings that you may find helpful this week. Here is a resource on therapeutic storytelling in the nursing practice. And then we also have an article here, Nursing Through the Lens of Storytelling. We have a reading on tone and style, and another one on style, diction, tone, and voice. These last two in particular will give you some good insights into writing your own personal story. And then here we have a list of personal stories that you can read from for our week 9 discussion board. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a sec. So the big thing this week is turning in your profile essay. Hopefully by this point you have thoroughly read the instructions for this, so I'm not going to read through all of this right now. I will just highlight some things for you, or kind of talk about the kind of things that I'll be looking for, or things that you should look out for as you finalize your draft. One, make sure that you're creating a vivid depiction of the individual. That a lot of times is going to come through using descriptions, sensory info, tastes, smells, feelings, sounds, and dialogue. If you aren't using a lot of examples, if you're not providing good descriptive details, if you're not including dialogue, it's going to be hard for you to create that vivid depiction of the person you are profiling. Also, you want to make sure that you're focusing on a short period of time. You are not writing about the person's entire life. You're zooming in on a relatively short part of their overall story as a person. Make sure, though, that you are still writing this as an essay. So you are potentially telling a story, but it's still an essay. You need an intro, a body, a conclusion. There needs to be a hook and a thesis statement. The thesis should come at the end of your introduction. It should identify what your main point is. Make sure that your thesis is saying something about the person that you are profiling. I've already read through some people's papers, and there's a tendency for people to make their thesis statement something kind of broad, or something that is like applicable to as many people as possible. And that's not really the point of this assignment. You want to be making a point about specifically the person that you are profiling. Make sure that your body paragraphs have topic sentences Each body paragraph should begin with a topic sentence that identifies the focus or the point of that paragraph, and each body paragraph should end with a concluding sentence that brings a sense of closure, that wraps up that body paragraph, and also helps transition into the next paragraph. Let's see, what are some other things I've been noticing as I've looked at people's writing? There is, as I've already said, a tendency to maybe be a little bit vague. You want to provide lots of good specific details. You also want to avoid using first and second person. Using first and second person, so second person is saying like you, yours, which you generally don't want to do in academic writing. You don't want to talk directly to the reader. You don't want to use second person. And first person is saying things like I, me, my, we, ours. Not only does first person sometimes come across as informal, but it can also, for this paper in particular, kind of steal the focus away from the person that you're profiling and bring it back towards you as the writer or the narrator. So as much as you can, you want to avoid first and second person in this paper. If you haven't already, make sure that you read through this assignment sheet. Even if you have, I would read through it again. I would also take a look at the rubric that I'll be using to grade this paper. That'll give you a lot of good insights into how I will be assigning your grade. When it comes time to submit the final draft, make sure that it is in a Microsoft Word file format. No other file formats will be accepted. It does need to be cited in APA style, even though you are not required to use any sources. If you do use any sources, if you quote anything, if you paraphrase anything, if you take ideas from anywhere else, those need to be referenced in APA style. And remember to submit your essay early. I would recommend submitting it on the Saturday before the paper is due. That way you have plenty of time to look at the Turnitin report and to make any changes that you need to. Here is a guide on using the Turnitin report. Or if you have questions for me about that, or you want me to show you how to interpret a Turnitin report, just let me know. I'd be happy to do so. But please know that I do check everyone's Turnitin report, and if it looks like you have taken words or ideas from other places and you have not properly cited those, I will be contacting you because your essay has been plagiarized, and we'll have to work through the consequences of that. Potentially you'll have to rewrite the paper. Potentially you will get a 0 on the assignment. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. But please do not neglect checking your Turnitin report for plagiarism. That pretty much covers the profile essay. It is due Sunday of week 9 by 11:55 p.m. It can be accepted up to 2 days late for a 5% penalty for each day that it is late. Now for the week 9 discussion forum post. First of all, you need to read Therapeutic Storytelling in Nursing Practice and Nursing Through the Lens of Storytelling. Those were linked in the readings and resources for this week, so make sure that you read those. After you've done that, take a look at that list of readings under Readings and Resources. It's the section labeled Personal Stories. Just select one of those that you connect with, you find interesting, or that stands out to you for some reason. And then you're going to write your post about that personal story. After you've selected the reading that you want to respond to, you're going to answer these questions. Tell your classmates which readings you selected and why. Try to be as specific as possible. Discuss that writer's use of tone and word choice. Overall, how do the tone and word choice impact the writing? And then what is your personal reaction to that story? How did it make you feel? What does it make you think about? That is what your initial post is going to focus on. In your reply posts, those should work to further the discussion by asking meaningful questions and creating connections between your peers' reactions and your own. I want to highlight this for you. Your initial post requires the use of at least 2 in-text citations and references from the assigned readings. Make sure that those are in APA. You should have in-text citations within the post. You should also have references at the end of the post. And keep in mind in general, in APA, in academic writing, anytime you use words or ideas that are not your own, even if you're just summarizing, even if you're just paraphrasing, you must cite that information. So you will be very likely using ideas from these two readings. So if you use any words or ideas from these two readings, you should reference them in your post. You are also being required to respond to one of the personal stories. So make sure that you also reference that in your post. So what I would do just to be safe, I would just make sure that you have 3 references. Reference these 2 readings and the personal story. Try to include at least one in-text citation from each of those things. That's a good way to make sure that you're being thorough and that you are not going to lose out on any points. As per usual, your initial post is due by 11:55 on Thursday. Your reply posts are due by 11:55 p.m. on Sunday. As a reminder, this has been true throughout the whole course, but I still have people asking me about it. Your reply post cannot be accepted late. Basically, every other assignment in this class can be accepted up to 2 days late. However, reply posts cannot. And that is all for this week. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. If you would like me to look over a rough draft of your profile essay, I'm happy to do so. I can give you pretty thorough feedback on that. You just have to make sure that you send it to me by Wednesday of week 9. If you get it to me later than Wednesday of week 9, I can no longer give you feedback on that. That's everything. Just let me know how I can help you out.